Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's had a great week so far. We are going to jump in today on book 4 of the Aeneid. Today, you were supposed to have read a couple of different books for the reading assignment. Remember to always look at the schedule week to week to make sure you're keeping on top of what we need to have read for that day to discuss in class. But today, we're going to take a little bit of a look of a summary video on book 4. Now, summaries can be nice tools, whether it's one where somebody has done a review of the text or made video commentary online. These do not replace the actual readings. So when we do things like quizzes or midterms, or when you guys are writing your paper later in the semester, we want to know the full text and look at the language ourselves and do our own interpretations. But sometimes if we run into a text where maybe we didn't quite understand what was going on, perhaps this is something that has been translated over time and we are removed from the cultural context. So sometimes maybe watching a video or reading something extra on it can kind of help us understand what we've just read. So again, this is not to replace the reading, but this is another way that we can interact with the text. This is also going to be helpful for you guys whenever we get to midterms and whenever we are studying for the final. These are nice ways to kind of remind yourself what you've read over the semester without having to go back and do an entire semester's worth of reading. I looked at a few of these different videos. I sometimes show you guys these in person in class, but I really was interested in this one because the person in charge of the channel not only kind of gives their own explanation, but almost as if they're telling it as their own story. I like this, especially because so many of these texts do come from an oral tradition where these stories were initially passed down by telling them out loud or performing these stories. And this is another way that this tradition is kind of kept alive. And the person, Elliot Explains, the creator of this channel, also does some cutesy little drawings and stuff as well. Much better drawings than I could do, I will say, for this video. We're not going to watch the entire thing. I will give you guys the link if you want to go back and watch all of it. We're more so watching it to kind of see the way they interpret the text, the way they're telling about it. And then for your activity for today, I would like for you guys to emulate what they're doing in this. It's not going to be a full-blown YouTube video like they're doing on here, but you guys are going to have the opportunity to record yourselves interpreting part of the text. So I'm going to go ahead and play just a few minutes of this video so we can see what's going on. If you have already read book 4, you know there are some strong topics discussed within book 4, especially having to do with Aeneas and Dido's relationship, and then Dido's kind of exit from the story. So just be warned of that. And there's also some strong language used in this video as well.
Hello and welcome to book 4 of the Aeneid. Let's begin. So we start the book again with Dido, not Aeneas, and she's becoming more and more smitten with Aeneas, and it gets so bad she complains about it to her sister Anna, and she's like, Anna, I want to remain faithful to my dead husband Zacchaeus and never marry again, but also Aeneas is really, really hot, and I really want to marry him. But also Zacchaeus, I'm so conflicted, Anna. And Anna is like, well, I mean, why don't you just marry him? I mean, your husband's dead. You need another husband to gain more allies, and marrying a foreign guy would be great because then you get literally a whole other army, and everyone else around you is getting pretty pissed because you've been turning them all down. So you're probably gonna need these allies because they're probably gonna start a war on you soon. And Dido is like, that's true. But first let's sacrifice to literally every god first just to make sure that this is a good idea. And so they go around the whole city, going to all the shrines, sacrificing to all the shrines to get some kind of good omen. I don't think we ever find out if she gets a good omen. I mean, not surprising because it doesn't end well. Spoiler alert. So after this, Dido takes Aeneas around the entirety of Carthage to just show off all the sights there are to see, and she continues to beg him to tell her more stories, probably the same stories because boy, he hasn't lived a lot apart from the Trojan War, from all we know. And she also kind of creepily starts to cuddle Ascanius quite a lot. Like, she'll keep putting him on her knee because he reminds her so much of his dad. And considering how obsessed she is about his dad, it's a little bit dodge. But we just brush past that. It's said in a sentence. We're just supposed to accept this. I refuse to. And as a result of all this, all the construction ceases in Carthage, and we see that her leadership has gone to shit because of love. What is Virgil trying to tell us here? Love stops you from being a good leader, apparently. Thanks, Virgil. It's what I needed in my life right now. And while this is happening, Juno sees her chance to delay Aeneas again and goes to Venus and is like, hey, I'm the goddess of marriage. You're the goddess of love. You clearly got these two together. Why don't we get them married? You know? Serves both of our interests. And Venus is like, okay, even though she knows it's a ploy to delay Aeneas. But also she can't really turn down Juno, because Juno is the queen of the gods, and that would be really fucking dumb if she did. So she's like, yeah, sure, let's do this. And so the next day, Aeneas, Dido, and Ascanius all arrive for a good old little hunt. And soon a storm hits. What perfect timing! And so Aeneas and Dido are somehow the only two people there. They only find each other and they just happen to go into a cave together. And then one thing leads to another. They have sex. AKA they get married. But do they? Is a good question for later on in this book. So after this, rumours start to spread, naturally. But the way it's described, Rumour is a goddess. She's just personified. But we can probably assume it's just, rumours in general. And soon enough, they reach Iarbas, who's one of Dido's suitors, and he gets, understandably pretty pissed about this. And so much so that he whines about it to Jupiter, who is his father, and is like, Dad, this isn't fair, I got there first, make this stop. And Jupiter is like, okay then, and just sends down Mercury to tell Aeneas to get a bit of a move on, because he needs to complete his mission at some point. Soon, hopefully. He needs to get going to Latium. I learnt the name. Now we know. And Aeneas is like, okay, and he prepares to sail in secret and very gently brings up the topic to Dido, and it's like, hey babe, I kind of need to leave at some point because I have to found this new city for my people. It does not go well. She does not take this well at all. She goes into a full-on rage and continues to beg him to stay, and Aeneas makes it a lot worse by saying, why does this even matter? We're not even married. She gets even more pissed about this. She is fully convinced they are married. Do you see the problem that has come from assuming that having sex means you're married? Virgil raising up those important questions. And he also restates his mission as I kind of have to go to find a new city, but Dido's like, that doesn't matter. You're supposed to stay here with me because you made a vow. And Aeneas is like, no, I didn't. And so Dido, still desperate, sends her sister Anna to try and convince Aeneas. This does not work at all. And
Okay, guys. So let me get my video back on. So that's again just a few minutes that I wanted to show you of somebody else kind of interpreting the text, and even doing kind of her own little drawings. I'm not gonna lie, when I first watched this, I was wondering, is this what I sound like when I explain plot point to you guys? Especially because, like me, the person who created this video will say like a lot, and it just I liked how natural it was, and also kind of her interaction with the text as well, even making little jokes about how the subject of romance maybe is not something she needs to talk about in her own life right now. Hmm. So, your assignment is going to be to actually go and go back, and if you have not read book six already, read book six, and then you are going to be making your own video response to the text. So it doesn't have to be as long as this. This is like an 8-minute video that this creator has done, and she has obviously done a lot of illustrations and stuff. So I'm going to kind of give you guys creative um, opportunities here. So if you want to just do like I do every week and come on here and make a short video, I'm gonna only require you to talk for about 3 minutes. It can be as long as you want. Please don't make it like 40 minutes long. One of the summaries that I found was about 40 minutes long, which was a little odd since I feel like you could listen to the audiobook almost in that amount of time when it comes to the different books of the Aeneid. But you will take book six, um, and if you need to make notes to kind of hit the highlights, just talk to the screen like you were talking to a friend and telling them a story. Or like just like you watched an episode of television the other day and you're kind of recapping what happens. If you want to do like this creator and you've got a whiteboard or paper and pen or something and you want to do drawings and just record your voice along with your drawings, you are welcome to do that. Or, like I said, you guys can just film yourselves kind of like I am. There are recording functions on Blackboard. I will go ahead and set that up for you and leave you typed out instructions on the activity. And if you have any questions or comments or have issues with this, just let me know. Since this is a little bit more involved and it's not just you typing out an answer or taking a quiz, I am going to leave this open until Saturday night. So you're going to have a little bit more time to work on this than you have with previous things. But I hope everybody has a great and safe weekend. We are going to pick back up on some more books of the Aeneid on Monday. Please keep track of the reading schedule. That's under week one. On the end of your syllabus is where you can find that reading schedule. So please keep up with that. And I will see you guys on Monday.